Good morning, everyone. This is the final session of the 88th, I believe, annual meeting of the International Pacific Halibut Commission. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for quieting right down. We have a few motions to get through. We will ask our Executive Director, Dr. Lehman, to lead us through this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. First item for your consideration are catch limits for decision by each regulatory area. I will go through them one by one. They're on the screen here. First area is Area 2A. Staff recommendation is 0.989 million pounds, supported by the Conference Board and the Processors Advisory Group.
Do you have a motion on 2A catch limit?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept staff recommendations, and I'd like to speak to my motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Please speak to your motion.
Mr. Chairman, we have a professional staff that has done the science on halibut since 1924, and I think we should follow their lead. While I'm going to push for new systems in the future to be peer-reviewed, with the serious decline in eBio over the last few years, I don't think we have the luxury to wait under the current circumstances. I am therefore supporting our scientists, and this rationale goes for all the motions I'll be making on the other areas.
Mr. Lesenkoff.
Mr. Chairman, I also have a comment, or I'm going to oppose staff recommendations because I'm going to advocate for not changing models too quickly. The last 4 years we're using the trendless model, and many in the halibut industry are advocating for more review before we implement new models, and I support using the trendless model, which cuts the catch limits by 9% from last year versus cutting under the wobble SQ model cuts us by 19% this year, or per staff recommendations. So I'm going to be voting no on staff recommendations based on that.
Thank you, Mr. Lesenkoff. Are there any other comments? Now we have a motion to set the quota at the staff recommended level of 0.989 million pounds for Area 2A. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The motion passes with the 0.989.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next area is Area 2B of British Columbia. Staff recommendation is 6.633 million pounds. The Conference Board had some difficulty coming up with a uniform recommendation on this. What we've listed up here is 7.04, although there was considerable discussion on this. Processors Advisory Group recommends 6.633 million pounds.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that the TAC for Area 2B be 7.038 million pounds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Mr. Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me start by saying I've been delighted to have been here in Alaska this last week. I have to say it's almost as cold as the capital of Ottawa, where I come from, Canada, and certainly has been this week compared to what I hear there. The Alaskan hospitality has been well known, and certainly appreciated this week, and appreciate the time I spent in this city of Anchorage, as well as with all of you. Mr. Chairman, the decision that we're making with respect to Area 2B is first and foremost, as it is in all the areas we're looking at, based on the need for precaution. I don't think anyone in this room would argue that the cumulative evidence of the halibut fishery suggests that we need to exercise caution, precaution, and due prudence as managers of the resource. And I would note that the recommendation we're making with respect to Area 2B constitutes 500,000 pound reduction from last year. It's our view, at the same time, that the scientific uncertainty associated with the analysis that led to the staff recommendation, in particular the analysis or the adoption of a different model approach after several years of using another model, and the lack of an opportunity for peer review or even just even an internal further review of that change did not, as a result, convince us that it was necessary to move in that in the direction based on that new model evidence. It's not just based on the question of scientific uncertainty or relation to the change in the model. It's also in relation to our view about the actual situation of fishing in Area 2B, which, as everyone knows, is even with the stable tax of the last few years, has seen the WPUE go up. There is a precedent when you have a difference of opinion on a scientific basis between various models, and the hake fishery is an example of that, where it was proposed to split the difference, which essentially this is what this is, between the existing model that's been used for the fishery for the last few years, making stock assessments, and the new model that was just adopted. So we believe that there is an important scientific precedent for being able to say that this is a prudent approach, consistent with precaution, but also consistent with other factors, including not just what I said earlier about fishery in 2B, but also the management of that fishery. And as everyone in this room knows, Area 2B is in the context of the broader overall regulatory areas for IPHC governs, is managed on the basis of 100% observation, has a negligible bycatch mortality as a result of that. We note, by the way, in particular, that Area 2A, which has adopted in its commercial fishery a similar requirement for observation, has seen a 70% reduction in bycatch mortality. This, in our view, is the model of the future we'd like to see across the entire regulatory areas of IPHC. For all these reasons, that it was the considered view that the number of 7.038 was an acceptable and a prudent measure for us to take. We will hear later from other commissioners about work that we want to do as a commission to improve the scientific analysis, to peer review the scientific analysis. So we see this as obviously a measure that's for 2012, but we will be endeavoring, and collectively there is a collective view amongst all commissioners that we will, and I think as reflected in comments that were made by my colleague Ralph Ward, a need for a more rigorous and effective approach to undertaking the scientific analysis to make sure that we continue to make precautionary and prudent decisions in the future for the benefit of the resource. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hord.
this is a difficult decision for me. I know there's a precedence for splitting the difference between two models when there's questions about each. We will later this year, through a workshop and more, address the uncertainties we have in stock assessment. With this in mind, I support the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hord. Anyone else? Hearing none, we have a motion to set the Area 2B quota at 7.038 million pounds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The motion passes. That quota is set. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next area is Area 2C, Southeast Alaska. Staff recommendation for 2.624 million pounds. Conference board supporting 2.62, and the process advisory group 2.624 as well.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we Support the staff's recommendation of 2.624 million pounds for Area 2C.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, my remarks regarding 2A apply for this and the other areas.
Thank you, Mr. Westencroft.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I just want to add that in my support of the trendless model that was used for the last 4 years, although I'm going to vote no against staff recommendations, the trendless model would have brought 2C up to 2.8 versus 2.6 from staff recommendations. So I guess my negative vote is not that negative. And statewide, the trendless would have set the catch limits at a total of 37.5 million versus the staff recommendations of 33.1, and that would have gave a slight bump over staff statewide, including Area 2B. So I'll be voting no.
Thank you, Mr. Westencroft. Any other comments? We have a motion for set the quota to 2.624 million for 2C. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you. That motion will carry. That what is set. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next area is Area 3A. Staff recommendation of 11.918 million pounds. Again, this was an area where the conference board had considerable discussion. The number you see up there is 11.92 million pounds, and processors advisory group 11.918 million pounds.
We have a motion on 3A.
Mr. Chairman, I move we support the staff on 3A, 11.918 million pounds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I would just like to note that the conference board had some mixed views on Area 3A, and including some folks that spoke of designating it as an area of concern. While the commission motion in front of us does not do that and would set the TAC at the staff recommendation for Area 3A. Canada would just like to note that the continual fall in commercial WPOE in most areas to the west of us, to the west of Area 2, with a view to possibly revisiting the harvest rate question in the future.
Thank you. Any further comments? We have a motion to set the quota at 11.918. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next area is Area 3B. Staff recommendation of 5.070 million pounds, supported by the conference board and the processors advisory group.
Is there a motion for 3B?
Mr. Chairman, I move we support the staff's recommendation of 5.07 million pounds.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
That motion carries. The quota is 5.070 million for 3B. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next area is Area 4A. Staff recommendation of 1.567 million pounds, 1.57 from the conference board and 1.567 from processor advisory group.
I have a motion for 4A.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go with the staff's recommendation for 4A of 1.567 million pounds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
That motion passes. The quota will be 1.567 for 4A. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next area is Area 4B. Staff recommendation of 1.869 million pounds. Conference board rounded to 1.87 and 1.869 from processor advisory group.
Thank you. Is there a motion for 4B?
Mr. Chairman, I move for 4B we accept the staff's recommendation of 1.869 million pounds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please indicate by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
That motion passes. 4B quota will be 1.869 million pounds. Dr. Lehman?
Mr. Chair, the next area for you is Area 4CDE combined. We do have separate areas at the request of the North Pacific Fishery Management Council. You'll get into the catch sharing plan in a second, but you will address the combined 4CDE number. Staff recommendation is 2.465 million pounds. Conference Board recommends 3.095 million pounds, and Processors Advisory Group 2.465 million pounds.
I have a motion for the combined CDE quota.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the staff's recommendation for Area 4C, D, and E of 2.467 million pounds. 2.465.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded. Do we have discussion? I see none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you. That motion passes. Dr. Lehman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next issue is commercial fishing period recommendations. There are two blocks here. The first one is Area 2A, non-treaty. The staff recommends a series of openings beginning on June 27th, as outlined here. Conference Board recommends the same, and PAG made no comment on these.
Thank you. May I have a motion on 2A?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve staff recommendations for Area 2A fishing periods.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? I see no comments. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next areas are for the Area 2A treaty and incidental, and the quota share fisheries in Area 2B and 2C through 4A and E. Recommendation from the staff is from March 15th to November 15th, from the Conference Board from March 17th to November the 18th, and from Processor Advisory Group from 17th of March through the 10th of October, or possible, sorry, excuse me, the 31st of October, with a possible of 7th of November.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the seasons for the remaining areas?
Mr. Chairman, I move that for the 2A treaty and incidental fisheries and the quota share fisheries to the north and west of there, that we open on March 17th at noon and close on November 7th at noon.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded to open the season March 17th at noon, close it November 7th at noon. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have some discussion or make a comment on this. And I think we did take into consideration the comments we heard. We also recognize, and I think this point was made by PEG, that really we recognize the staff do need more time to conduct the analysis, so we can really have a broader review and be a little bit more certain about the data that are coming in, and give the staff time to really conduct and prepare the documents for our review. So I think, and we also recognize that closing a little bit earlier would not pose really undue hardship. We did consult with our industry on this. So given those two factors, we think that moving a bit earlier is a good compromise for next year.
Thank you. Any further comment? I see none. All those in favor of these season dates, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next three issues are allocation plans within the respective countries. The first one is a recommendation to adopt the Pacific Fishery Management Council's catch sharing plan for Area 2A. Staff supports this and also supported by the Conference Board and the PAG.
Is there a motion on this topic?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the Pacific Fishery Management Council plan as stated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any comment or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You will see on the screen, because you adopted a catch limit for Area 2A beforehand, this has been populated by what those numbers will be for that catch sharing plan. Next item is the North Pacific Fishery Management Council's catch sharing plan for areas 4C, D, and E, supported by the staff, Conference Board, and PAG.
Thank you. May I have a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the North Pacific Council catch sharing plan for Area 4C, D, and E.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any comment or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The last allocation program is in Area 2B, British Columbia. The recommendation is to adopt the Department of Fisheries and Oceans allocation for commercial and sports users, supported by the staff, the Conference Board, and PEG.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the DFO allocation?
So moved.
Thank you. Any second?
Second.
Any comment? Seeing none, that passes. The DFO allocation is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask Heather Gilroy now to go through the regulatory proposals.
Mr. Chair, the first regulatory proposal is to update the IPHC regulations so that they're in line with the groundfish fishery in Area 2B, and this is relative to the location and the sets. So the location would be required to be lat long, and the sets would be, it would be by sets instead of day, and it's supported by staff. The Conference Board and PEG had no comment.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we update Area 2B logbook as Ms. Gilroy suggested.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments or discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Heather?
Mr. Chair, the next regulatory proposal is to add a logbook. It's an ODF&W logbook. IPHC staff and ODF&W have worked to make sure that it works for IPHC, and so we'd like to add that as an option for the Area 2A fishermen.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say it was supported by the staff and the Conference Board, no comment by PEG.
A motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move we add the ODFW logbook option as recommended by staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Ms. Gilroy?
The next proposal was from the North Pacific Fisheries Management Council, and it's for the Area 2C guided sport fishery with a reverse slot limit of U45068. The staff has no comment. PEG took no action, and the Conference Board did not support it. The Conference Board followed through with a recommendation that in the future 2C3A guided wastage be included in the harvest, and that there be an education program with the sport fishery for careful release.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the North Pacific Council's recommendation for the Area 2C guided sport reverse slot limit fishery.
Thank you. Is there a second?
My second.
Thank you. Any comments or discussion?
Yes, we felt that it was best to go with the North Pacific Council. They've been doing a lot of work on the charter industry regulations, and also ADF&G did work on this recommendation. And as far as you know, this might just be a temporary measure since the North Pacific Council is still working to finalize their catch sharing plan for the charter fishery in Area 2C, 3A. And also the commissioners directed the staff to establish or develop mortality rates to account for them in the recreational fishery, and also to develop careful release requirements for the recreational fisheries.
Thank you, Mr. Lessenkoff. Any further comment? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Ms. Gilroy.
The next regulatory proposal is with the catch limit you adopted for Area 2A, there will be an incidental halibut fishery during the sablefish season, and due to this we request that there be a 2A licensing of these vessels. supported by staff.
Sorry, a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that these vessels be so licensed as per the staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Ms. Gilroy.
The next proposals are from industry, and the first one is the weighing of all fish that are retained for tracking purposes in all fisheries, and there was no action or no comment by your boards.
Thanks. So we will have no action on this proposal. Ms. Gilroy.
The next one is an industry proposal, and it was for the Alaska sport fishery, and it was to revise regulations for the transport vessels. During the conference board discussion, enforcement talked to the conference board about this, and at the time, the person that put the proposal forward withdrew it, and we have agreed to work with this person to bring something forward next year.
Thank you. So there will be no commission action on that one either.
The next proposal wasn't a regulation proposal, it was a policy request, and it was for how the management of U-32 halibut would be treated, and there was no action by the conference board and no comment by PAG.
There will be no action by the commission on that either. Thank you.
The next was also a policy request that there was control with the Area 2C, 3A sport fisheries, that they stay within the GHL.
Thank you. So the commission certainly intends to stay with the allocations. We won't have any action on that.
Mr. Chair, we're just noting to the industry that the late proposals that we received were not reviewed at the commission request, and so they weren't looked at.
So this perhaps is a good time to remind the group that we have for a few years not considered proposals that came in after the deadline, so please pay attention to the deadlines. We're very anxious to have proposals from the user groups, the nations, and so we want to see those on time. We should note that there are two deadlines depending on whether it's a regulatory proposal or a catch limit proposal. If it's really a catch limit proposal, you have until December 31st to submit that. If it's a regulatory proposal, it needs to be here by the end of October. So make sure you have your proposal in the right category and make the deadline. We do want to see those. Ms. Gilroy.
The next group here are motions that were made either by PAG or the conference board, so I'll go through those. The first one was a motion made by the conference board to review the nursery grounds on the coast.
Thank you. Is there any comment or discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to comment on this. I think that when we were looking at this and other similar kinds of requests, we were taking this information seriously. We were recognizing that there is a need or a value in looking at this, and therefore we directed staff to undertake a review.
Thank you. Anything further? Ms. Gilroy.
I'll go through the next two together. The first one was a request by the conference board to define minimum monitoring standards for all fisheries. And the second one is relative to bycatch accounting and monitoring. There's several parts to this one. The first one was a motion by the conference board that the IPHC staff provide the observer program some priorities on where they should put their observers. The next one was there's a workshop on April 24th and 25th, and the conference board has recommended that a panel member be added to this workshop, and the panel member would be from the directed halibut fishery industry. And the last one was a request that the staff work with the state agencies to update their state managed bycatch estimates. And the last one was from PAG, and in the letter to governments tell them that we are concerned with bycatch.
Thank you. Is there any comment on this package of proposals? Mr. Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think all recall the discussion we had in the public meeting earlier this week about the importance that many people attach to the issue of firm and clear action on bycatch. That issue was discussed at length as well by commissioners with agency staff during the week. In that regard, we talked and discussed about the need to update a plan or working group series of activities that had been initially approved last year. That plan has been that working group work plan has been updated and will be available, we hope, in a relatively short period for your review. But that plan will, as you will see, will indicate an accelerated intent on our behalf to working closely between the two governments and the staff of the Commission to ensure that we are developing options for bycatch management and mitigation, and to make significant progress in that regard and be able to report back at this meeting next year with respect to that progress. And we look forward to opportunities to interact with stakeholders and those who wish to contribute to the efforts that we will be engaged in collectively to address what we all agree is a very serious issue that needs urgent attention. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further comment? No, next issue, Ms. Gilroy.
The next request was from the conference board and was for the IPHC staff to work with agency staff to develop discard mortality rates for all recreational halibut fisheries on the coast.
Any comment?
Mr. Chairman, I just point out that we have directed staff to send a letter to the agencies involved. The reverse slot limit system has brought mortality issues to the forefront, and we want to expand this to all recreational fisheries.
Thank you. Any other comment? Ms. Gilroy, next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next several issues, 16 through 18, involve science or policy-based issues. The first is a request to review the slow-up, full-down procedure. The second was for a scientific review of the stock assessment process, and the third was to evaluate the maximum size limit.
Thank you. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a comment on this. Thank you. I think we did receive a lot of good comments, and as you've heard from our discussion, we also had a lot of comments as commissioners on the approach that we were taking, and recognize that there is a need for more work, and we've already agreed that we need to give staff a little bit more time to complete their analyses. But in this context, we did think that there were some good ideas, but we really needed to have a broader overall plan, a broader sort of conceptual vision in which to place all these kinds of suite of issues. And so what I think we have agreed to do is really develop a team of commissioners and others who will work to develop a process to complete a 5-year research plan for the Commission, and as well that would look at short-term priorities as well as longer-term priorities, and as well to develop a peer review process for the assessment, for the scientific assessment. So within the context of this, and we would hope that we could start work on this fairly soon, but in the context of this, and we would try to develop a 5-year plan, develop a method for reviewing the assessment model. The plan would include issues such as how we're going to look at causes of the retrospective bias in the assessment, more work on development of management strategy evaluation that you've heard about earlier. How do we propose to investigate the declining size of age, which is very much a concern to many of us. So we've drafted a plan here, which we haven't really finished reviewing, but we will try to finalize, similar to the plan on the bycatch proposal that you just heard. We'll try to finalize over the next while so that we can share it with you. But we do hope to be able to make some progress and considerable progress on that this year. so that we're in a better position at this time next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richards. Any other comment? I would note that we have, in approving the budget, we did budget for this work, so it's financed. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next recommendation is to, from the Process Advisory Group, to retain the current commissioners.
I think we have no comment. Thank you.
I was afraid you were going to say no action. Mr. Chairman, the next issue is the location and date of the 2012 interim meeting. The staff has proposed November the 28th and 29th, 2012 in Seattle.
Have a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I move we hold the IPHC interim meeting in Seattle on November 28th and 29th, 2012.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we will hold the interim meeting November 28 and 29 in Seattle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next issue is location and date of the 2013 annual meeting. You had previously decided on this be held in Victoria, BC. The date's January 22nd, 25th, 2013.
But we should have a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we have the 2013 annual meeting in Victoria, BC from January 22nd to 25th.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next issue is we have asked for you to decide on 2 years hence on the meeting structure, which you agreed to. So this is the location and date of the 2014 annual meeting. Staff suggests the dates of January 21 to January 24th, 2014.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we hold the 2014 IPHC annual meeting on January 21st through January 24th, 2014, and it's going to be on the U.S. side. We're looking at the Seattle area, but that's not confirmed.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next issue is election of a chair for the 2012-2013 period.
Is there a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we appoint Dr. Laura Richards as the chair for the period up until March 31st of this year, when her term of office as commissioner expires. And Canada will be providing a name of a new chair by that time who will take on that responsibility as of April 1st.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I was going to comment, Laura's been the chair. Dr. Richards has chaired a lot of meetings very successfully. She's good to work with, so I'm pleased we'll at least have you around for 3 months. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next issue is the election of a vice chair for 2012-2013.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Dr. Balsiger as vice chair for the 2012-2013 year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments?
Chairman.
Yes, please.
Chairman, I just wanted to indicate a couple of things. Number one, that we welcome your continued participation in this organization for as long as you feel able. You are a very good guitar player, and I certainly want to have future opportunities to witness that. It's the most unusual guitar I've ever seen in my life, but he's very good at that. I also do want to make a comment about Dr. Richards, who spent many years in this organization. And just to correct the record, just because she's no longer going to be chair as of April 1st doesn't mean she's going away. She'll be part and involved in a lot of our discussions and issues that we're addressing. as time goes on, and that will be based on the extensive experience and knowledge, capability that she has, and we welcome her continued participation in that regard. So she's not allowed to retire. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Let's see, we didn't vote on this, did we? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Dr. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The last issue is we ask your leave for the ability to clean up any minor administrative regulation wording, miscomments, and so forth, and wage war on prepositions.
I think that's appropriate. Let me ask the commissioners. Is that okay? We've all nodded. You have that.
As long as it's not a policy change.
My turn. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just some closing remarks from the staff. This has been a very difficult meeting for all of us, including staff, and I would like to thank you all for your patience, for your understanding in going through a lot of these issues that we have brought before you. We realize we brought forward some highly technical issues for your consideration, and I thank you all for your patience in listening to some of our presentations and for your continued dialogue with us and trying to resolve some of these issues. So the staff appreciates that a great deal. I'd like to comment a little bit on some background folks. Our new Assistant Director, Steve Keith, and Mike Larson, our Administrative Officer, who did a lot of the background work to make the meeting work, and I thank them a lot for this. Lori Sidora sitting over there with her magic fingers, keeping track of all of these things. This building has been a considerable challenge in some of our electronic transmissions on this, and Tom Kong and Claude Dykstra did some real yeoman service in trying to make some of these things work, and it hasn't necessarily been completely foolproof, but it has been a considerable challenge. As well, Eric Astisfastian, Kirsten McTavish, and Michelle Drummond also helped a lot in sort of putting together some of our displays and organization and stuff, and I thank them very much.
You're here. Thank you. So I think I will. So is there a closing comments from the Canadian delegation?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And like Dr. Lehman, I also would like to acknowledge the staff, but I'd like to acknowledge all of you. Really do appreciate the warm-hearted welcome we had here in Anchorage, and we're very pleased to see such a large turnout at this meeting. And I know that there was a tremendous amount of work that went into the presentations that we heard at PAG and Conference Board, and we really do want to acknowledge and appreciate your hard work and your interest, and I'm very pleased also to see such a large turnout here this morning. Often we don't get too many people here for this last closing session, so I do want to acknowledge that and acknowledge the work of everyone all through the year who have put in work in helping prepare this meeting, and particularly that's true, I know, on the Canadian side. Now, as has just been mentioned, my term is due to expire, and as is the term of Mr. Gary Robinson, and I would really also like to acknowledge the work that Gary has done. I think he has served you very, very well, has been an excellent person to work with, and I really have appreciated the opportunity to work with him and to get to know him better. And I'd also like to acknowledge our good working relationship with our U.S. colleagues here, and also it's been quite a pleasure to work with them. And you've just heard that I guess I won't be able to get away from continuing to do some work in that regard. And I'd also like to thank Michael Pearson for helping us out and stepping up for a gap we had for this particular meeting. So thanks very much, and I say it's been, from my perspective, I have to say it's really been a tremendous honor and pleasure to have worked with you, and I really do appreciate all the support that you have given us over the years for Gary and I as commissioners, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Richards. This has been an interesting meeting, actually an interesting couple of years. It's kind of like an imperfect storm of things that have brought many of these issues to this room. We talked earlier in this meeting about United Nations, FAO, suggestions on how international fish meetings should be run, performance reviews that should be done. The commissioners having noted that this is actually the oldest international fish commission that the United States is in, had also wanted to take a look at practices that were being used to make sure that we were using best practices. Times have changed since the 20s and 30s when this commission started. Many of our policies and practices and meeting procedures had stayed the same, so we were anxious to look at that. It fit in well with the international desire for international commissions to look at their practices, and unfortunately this occurred just as the halibut stock, the biomass, the e-bio, was plummeting, and the fish weren't growing up anymore. This all kind of came together into a situation where we had to look very carefully at the stock assessments, at all of the papers, all of the modeling, all the work that everyone was doing in the agencies as well as in the Halibut Commission. And so we have all of this review going on. You've heard these two large processes that we're going to start, and as we mentioned, we budgeted for them. One looking at bycatch, one taking an overall look at stock assessments. If I was a staff member on the Halibut Commission, I'd probably think that people were looking over my shoulder pretty close. So I'm making this longer speech than usual to point out that we have not lost confidence or faith in the Halibut Commission staff. I think this is the modern way of doing things, broader peer review, a step back and look at these things more carefully and in more depth, and that's what's intended here. So seconding what Dr. Lehman said and Dr. Richards, this staff has worked very hard this last year. We're not questioning what they've done. We just need to go through these best practices that have held up in other international organizations. So you have my vote of confidence and thanks for doing that. Since I mentioned the Concur review, let me make a few comments. Our performance review by the Concur firm. As you know, they are currently conducting interviews which they are scheduled to complete in February. They will have draft results circulated to the people that they interviewed to confirm whether that there's any factual inconsistencies or any errors made as they were taking notes in those interviews. Concur will complete their report, including recommendations, by April 30th of this year. There will be a public rollout in early May by a webinar. That's a webcast, I believe. That means internet, I think. The dates and times will be announced on the internet, on the IPHC website, so watch for that. At the same time, the report's recommendations will be posted and considered by the commissioners. The commissioners will meet in late May or early June to discuss the performance review, including the development of a response to Concur. The next steps will include an implementation plan, and these will be discussed at this meeting of the commissioners in May or early June. And the commissioners are committed to an ongoing dialogue with the stakeholders, the user groups, the nations, and the tribes as this process unfolds. We intend that this performance review will be a major topic at the interim meeting in 2012 and also at the 2013 annual meeting. We're looking forward to those results. So with that, thanks to everyone for all the hard work you did, particularly the conference board and the PAG. The conference board in particular put in a lot of time and effort on that. We had a long report. It was very useful to us. The PAG was easier for it to deal with because it was shorter, but there was no less work involved in that, so we appreciate that. And thanks to the staff, we had a good meeting. I would like to add for Commissioner Robinson, Commissioner Richards, it's been a great deal of fun as well as a learning experience for me to work with them. So I'm glad to hear that they'll still be around, and we look forward to seeing Mr. Pearson soon as well. So thank you very much. With that, let's adjourn this meeting.